Hi, I'm Mike Harding. I'd like to share a quick video here on the topic of moving to Exchange SE on HPE Hybrid Cloud infrastructure. We were not that long ago at HPE Discover. We shared a number of sessions and demos there in the Microsoft booth on the floor at the show and didn't record any of them. So this is just a quick recording on one of those topics. So let's get with it here. So the Exchange situation. I mean, it's interesting because the show only took place about a month ago, but since then, some big things have changed. So at the time, we were talking, actually for a number of years now, we've been telling customers they need to upgrade their Exchange environments. We work with a lot of big enterprises around the globe, as you can imagine. And the interesting thing is a data point from Microsoft. They're saying that about 50% of the Exchange install base was still running on versions older than 2019, and 2019 has actually been out there for a number of years now. Um, but folks have not been upgrading for a number of reasons. What happened since the show is that Microsoft, actually it was July 1st, I believe they announced Exchange SE. So Exchange Subscription Edition is now out. It's really the quote unquote last version of Exchange, where now it's going from a perpetual license model to a the modern lifecycle model SE. The other big important date to keep in mind is that October 14th, if I'm not mistaken, is when all these existing versions of Exchange go end of life, so end of extended support, October 14th. So basically, time is running out to actually get moved to the latest version of Exchange. Because you will not be able to get patches or anything for those other versions once they go beyond extended support. So that's a big deal. So that happened recently. That's really the situation that really matters. And so really just want to share information about what to do about it. Exchange, 2019 CU15. That's that last cumulative update that we're telling folks to get onto because we knew that it was code equivalent to SE. So if you're on CU15, you're basically on SE. The only thing that was going to change then is just the licensing for the most part. So that's what we've been getting folks to aim for. You actually can go at this point in time. It's out there. You can actually go right to Exchange SE. As I said, subscription edition. The key value adds there is that it follows like Microsoft's modern life cycle. So it's going to be similar to like Azure Local, for instance. So like every 6 months or so, you can expect that sort of cadence of an update. So you're not going to be, updating, doing big upgrades every few years or whatever. So it's a subscription edition, so you're kind of paying really for the head counts or the seats that you're using. So it's pretty modern as well. But that's basically it. So if you want to be running it on-prem, that's what you need to be doing. And I can just, this was like a demo and some stuff we did on-prem, so at the show. So I'll skip through some of this stuff. I'll just kind of hit the highlights, stuff that's important, I think. It's just to kind of point out the fact that our group actually does a lot of different solutions, with Exchange being one of them, and it does tend to serve more of like an enterprise-sized customer, so very large banks, big government agencies, organizations like that. But Exchange 2019, lots of reasons why customers ought to have been moving to it to begin with. More performance, more scalability, more efficiency. Actually, is one aspect of it was really the, if I touch upon it here, I should have pointed out, more security. So I think with 2019 was TLS 1.2, with SE, they actually picked up 1.3. That was important. And also the other thing that I glanced over, and I apologize, is with Exchange SE, we also have support for Windows Server 2025. So you can be pretty much up to date, up and down the stack. So that's important. The other thing about Exchange 2019 that they changed was this whole idea of the introduction of the Metacache database. So after this, prior to that, it really was about just a bunch of capacity disks, but then they introduced this cache. So you used SSD for this, really more of a high performance cache, and then the spinning disk was really for capacity. And we have actually ideal storage platforms for that in the Alletra 4000. And actually, up to this point, we had, and they're actually still available. You can still get an Apollo 4200, Gen 10 Plus. We have customers running on those. Lots of, very affordable capacity. and you actually have the ability to mix drives as well. But we've updated that line since. So now we have the Alletra 4000s. So they kind of carry the torch from the Apollo 4000s. 4100 don't really talk too much about in the context of Exchange because that's our 1U, but we do talk about it for Azure Local. But here, you're probably more interested in the 4120, which is a 2U system, or the 4140, which is beloved by a lot of our big bank customers. 4U up to 92 drives, tons of capacity, and like I said, also the ability to be able to have a mix of drives to support that. In this case, the cache, the SSD, and then just a lot of spinning disk for capacity. So those are the systems that we really focus on when we talk about the Exchange solution in the hybrid cloud group, but also just want to point out, didn't want to sell short the Apollo, that Alletra 4000 line, because it's used for a lot of other things beyond Exchange. Lots of big data, analytics, lots of applications. So it's a very, very important product line for the group. 4120, as I said, kind of carries a torch from the Apollo 4200s, but just more of a modern platform, more capacity, more performance. NVMe drives, and these are just kind of really more like point-by-point comparisons between those two. If you're more familiar with the Apollo 4200 Gen 10 Plus, as I said, still available, but I would say at this point in time, definitely we recommend just going right straight to the Apollo, to the Alletra, either 4120s or 4140s, and you can see a number of reasons why, where we've done some key updates, new features, new capabilities. A little more on that. All right, and economics. So this is like my favorite topic. So especially for those big customers, I mean, at scale, and we kind of proved it out here in this little analysis, little TCO analysis. Absolutely at scale. I mean, if you're a small business, just a couple of people running out of a basement or something, I mean, absolutely you should be going straight to Office 365 and get all the goodness that you need online. But if you have 300,000 employees across the world, and we do have customers like that, they're able to get their Exchange, keep it on-prem, deal with the regulations and security concerns that they have, as well as get economics that gives them a price point per mailbox cheaper than what they'd pay for Exchange Online. So that's basically the bottom line there. So just want to point out that we've done a lot of publications, and we will definitely update those, technical white papers, deployment guidance for doing Exchange on the 4000s. We have a set out there today, and we'll update that as we roll out newer versions of the Alletra 4000s as well. And if there's anything that we didn't cover in there, you always can kind of reach out to our team directly. There's also, we have our professional services. We have some folks out there who've been working with Exchange for, doing email migrations for a long time. And in some cases, if let's say you find yourself back a couple of versions, I think it's 2010, that does require a double hop upgrade. Otherwise, it'd be a single hop upgrade. But either way, we have folks who can help out with that and address whatever complexities you have to address in order to get your environment upgraded without, and ideally avoid anything in the way of outages. Here's just an example customer of ours. This is really more of a case where it's really like a mixed workload environment. So we're running Exchange along with a number of other workloads on, in this case, I think it's our PCBE, so our converged infrastructure platform. Which we've also actually done a white paper on as well. So lots of guidance out there for running Exchange, whether it's one of a number of applications in a virtualized environment, or it's the one thing you're running on bare metal and scaling up to hundreds of thousands of mailboxes. We'll get you covered. All right, call to action. If you haven't already, and I'm not sure how it is you have missed this, but you gotta get upgraded to Exchange SE as soon as possible. HPE is there to help. We've got the infrastructure products for you. We have the professional services teams that can help out. I have links to information there. QR code you can use right now to get information. Lots of other stuff being published online. We'll continue to update it. So you look to us as a resource to help you get current on your Exchange environment. Lots of reasons why HPE from Microsoft Solutions, and lots of Microsoft solutions that the team here in the Hybrid Cloud group is working on. Not just Exchange, but Windows Server, SQL Server, Azure Local, and more. So thanks a lot for your time.